Today I'm trying to measure the leakage on the lower gearbox or lower leg or gearbox on a Mercury Force, an older engine. So I have two gearboxes, one that was repaired, or at least I paid $400 to get it rebuilt, and I broke the bottom fin, a common mistake. So I'm using that one for parts because it's leaky. Even the repair, it was supposed to hold me a couple of years. It's still leaky. And I have this one, which after replacing the oil, I realized that I'm getting some foam on the bottom. And so I have this basic setup, and this video is just to give you some sort of a clues how I do the pressure testing. So what I've used is a oil lower unit pump kit, which has two adapters. So one is there, one I've already used, and there is an air compressor with a pressure gauge. So you can use any type of air compressor as long as you use an inline pressure gauge, or they call it manometer, so you can monitor the pressure drop. And this model I'm using is automatic, so I can set the desired pressure and PSI or whatever unit, measurement unit, and then once I press the button, this one will stop the motor, the compressor motor, at the desired pressure. So the manual states 15 psi, and sometimes I go by the manual, sometimes I go by the feel. And since I know this gearbox has a leaky seal, and I assume that this is the bad guy, and it might be one around the pump, the water pump. I thought, you know what, I can play with the pressure and raise the pressure above the specified one. So yesterday I went to 100 psi. So I set the pressure 100 psi because I wanted to break that bad seal. So I got a 100 psi. I could see it dropping like it does right now. It doesn't drop too fast, but it does drop. And of course you need to use a spray bottle with some soap. So you see the bubble, it traces down the bubbles, and you spray around the propeller shaft and see if there's any bubbles coming out. So since I was trying to break that bad seal, see which one fails first, I went with 100 psi and I played with this gear shifter rod, and this one popped and sprayed a bunch of a bunch of oil. So I know that's bad for sure. So right now it appears it's working. It's the same seal. I haven't replaced it yet, but if I go higher with a higher pressure, it's going to spray some oil. So once I wiggle this one, I go around the seal to make some room. I would see some spray coming in. So actually I got a lot of spray, a lot of oil coming out at that high pressure. So I know this is gone. It was gone before. But also you monitor some of the oil around the seal. So if you see shaft with oil, then you know that's a leaky seal. The same thing goes here. So if you see oil, around the propeller shaft, or they call it prop shaft, then you know somehow the oil will escape, and depends of the pressure, how cool is this one. So if this one gets warm and you put it in the water, or the other way around, and it cools down right away, it's going to suck some water, and when it expands, it's kind of get some oil leaking out, especially when you run it at high RPM. So that's the idea behind testing the seals. Okay, I hope